Welcome to this overview of the Ask and It Is Given challenge. I am going to now give an overview of the 22 processes that we just experienced doing this challenge over the past 21 days, and give us an idea of how we might apply these processes into our daily lives and sort of segment each one into categories. I've put them into different categories so we can just think about ways in which we may need each process and give us some ideas of how we can then integrate them into our daily practice. There are a lot of processes. There are 22 different processes. They're all meant to help us release resistance and raise our vibration. So depending on where we are at any given moment, we know that, as human beings, we're going to be up and down that emotional scale, and that's part of evolving. That is part of being a human. But having access to ways in which, like practical ways in which we can direct thought, release resistance is just absolutely exciting and beautiful to have these available to us. So yeah, we can be just, creating the beautiful, manifesting the beautiful life that we desire. And well, there's different aspects of life. There is our, physical body. There is money, material objects, relationships. So there's so many different aspects of life that we may be experiencing contrast, and we might want to uh, know how we can accelerate our alignment and just be, again, so practice, have so many tricks up our sleeves, like Abraham says, that we can at any moment reduce the amount of time that we spend in incoherence or out of alignment, out of the vortex, so that we can move into that place of our natural well-being that is creative, that is using the law of attraction to bring to us what it is that we desire and live it. So what we've done in these 21 days, there's 22 processes, so it might be a little bit confusing. The reason why it was 21 days, the last day we did 2 processes, is because it's about the time that we create new habits. In about 21 days, we can create new habits. So the purpose of having a challenge that, if you participated, you enrolled, there was something in you that said yes to participating. This is going to be a recording available to those who did the challenge. And also, I'm going to open it up for people who want to do the challenge later on with me or on your own as well, because this is something that's available for us. This is based on the book Ask and It Is Given from Abraham Hicks. Trying to put it there. This is my copy. There's different book covers, and so you might have one that has the bird flying, but they're all in here. They're all available to you. You can get the book and go over them on your own. But during this challenge, what I did was summarize each process and did a recording for us all. These recordings are 4 to 7 minute long, where I explain to you the process and give us like those just bullet points of how to do them. And in this recording, I want to give us, again, like, I segmented them into I've put money, like the ones that are focused on money, the one that is focused on health, the one that are playful. I put a category for play, which is very important. Also a category just for releasing resistance when we're in the emotional set points that are lower vibrations, where we have a lot of resistance going on. And I put a category for introspection, and one for intentional thought or an intentional workout. So hopefully these kind of help you have this overview, and then you can again you can jot some notes down, but hopefully again this gives you an idea of how you can apply these, how you can practice these in your day-to-day, and kind of sort of organize them for yourself, because we're all in different stages, and there may be times in your life where you need one process more than the other, but hopefully that you will remember that there are ways, that there are tools, there's practical ways in which you can release that resistance, raise your vibration, and then enjoy the fruits of your focus. Okay, so starting off with money. That seemed to be one that a lot of people got so excited about. I know it's one of the themes that as humans living in this physical reality, we want more of. So there are 3 actual processes that focus solely on that. The first one is process number 5, which is called the prosperity game. In the prosperity game, we started writing checks, and so you can choose to do this as a practice for getting yourself into the feeling state, and also expanding your ability to imagine what it's like to spend the money, to have it. So we wrote checks, created an imaginary bank account where we deposited these checks, and we started with 5,000 because that is it's process number 5. So it was just a random number, but you can start it with however amount that you desire. And then what we did was every day we added 1,000. So we ended up at the end of the challenge with $18,000 to deposit and spend. So overall, if you can imagine how much money we spent, I don't have the exact number here, but in this challenge, starting on day 5, we deposited and spent 5,000. Then day 2, 6,000. Day 7, 7,000, and so on. So we overall spent a lot of money in this challenge, and hopefully you stretched yourself, because one of the things that I found was that people were having a challenge coming up with ideas of how to spend that money, and also a lot of resistance as to, but I don't have that money. But it is a game. That's why a lot of these processes require for us to be in a playful state and imagine. The body doesn't know what is real, and that is something that is really important for us to remember. All these processes that we are creating deliberately, ideas and thoughts and a feeling. It comes down to the feeling. So if you notice yourself having resistance of, well, what am I going to spend that money? Well, that's part of the challenge, is expanding your capacity to imagine that you can have it, and that you did have it, and that you spent it. It's all again coming down to creating the feeling. So the money, that the next process for money was the wallet process, and that's where we got $100 bill and put it in our wallet, and we spend that money virtually, or like we imagine spending it. So imagine spending that money, that $100 that was available, to everything that you could come across in your daily life. Like, just, oh, I have $100, I could do that meal. I could do, get my nails done. I could go get a massage. whatever it is, we imagined spending the $100 bill that is in our wallet, ready, available. And so that is the other process for money. And lastly, for money specifically, the releasing resistance to becoming debt free, if debt is something that creates resistance for you. And the process entailed that we created a sheet with all the debts or the promises to pay, our obligations, and we went from the largest to the smallest. And in this, the idea is that the smallest you pay double, and the other ones as well. But you actually can take this on as something that you are doing for your life with your debts, and imagining paying off double the amount, but actually in the smallest debt, do pay double the amount, which, in some instances, if it's a credit card, for example, you can, if, that's your desire and your commitment, you can double the amount of the payment. And that gets you into the feeling of chipping away, or reducing that pressure of there's too much. But just by doing little by little, that releases the resistance. So that is the releasing resistance to becoming free debt. That's process number 19. So those are the ones specifically for money. The next category is play. And I put it in play because it requires these there's 3 processes that I put in this category. And please, this is my personal take on this. So you can do as you may with your processes and put them in different categories that work for you. But this is what I came up with, as to it works for me to put them in categories and say, okay, these ones that require me to be in the energy of play are that means that I don't have strong resistance. And if I do and I want to play this game, I'm going to have to move up the emotional scale first in order for it to work. Because let's say the magical creation box, that one is process number 2, and that's the one where we have a box that a pretty box that we write on it whatever is contained in this box is. And it's sort of like a piggy bank or something like that, where you put in illustrations, cutouts of things that we desire. And we could even write down things that, let's say we saw a beautiful couple having a great interaction, and we thought, oh, that is an indication, that is, universe is showing me what is available. I can write that down, write the feeling, celebrate those people for having that beautiful relationship, but put it in the box and imagine whatever is in this box is a beautiful relationship that I have with a co-creator with me. This is an example of something that you could put in that magical creation box. And the feeling that we're looking for is that it's done. Once we put it in the box, we've made our request. We have asked. So it requires that playful attitude because, it is imagined. And again, the body doesn't know what is imagined and what is real. But when we feel the feeling and we have the picture in our mind and we have the intention and we've made the request and we put it in, it's done. So that is the magical creation box, process number 2. The second one for play that I put in here is the virtual reality. That's process number 4. Virtual reality is super fun because you can do it anywhere, anytime, at any moment. Like, let's say you're waiting in line or waiting on the phone for, you're on hold, and you just use that time instead of focusing thought on something, on like complaining or being like, oh, why is this not happening? Oh, use that time to go into your virtual reality. In the virtual reality, you create a scene. Like, let's say you are the director of this movie in your life. So you can do it eyes open, eyes closed, and like imagine a beautiful scene. I personally found this one beautiful scene, like it's a beach and it looks like it's some exotic place, and with this white sand, and the scene for me starts off with me just basking in the feeling of the sun, in my on my skin, and just the perfect temperature, and just looking out and like enjoying the beautiful scenery, and there's no worries in my life, and I just imagine that that I have ordered a drink and a meal, and it's coming, and then maybe in the virtual reality somebody comes along and brings me that, or offers this to me, and this is all in my virtual reality. That for me is real. For me, it is happening, and I have made use of the time that I have, just to not to fill in, bl- bl- unused time, but we're I'm directing myself to utilize this time for creation and getting into the feeling. So what what virtual reality is a go-to. So I think that it is, for me, what I found a good idea to already have a movie that you are creating. It could be the same one, the same scene, could be multiple scenes. And then start, like, build off of that. Like, you have a moment to spare. Oh, I'm going to continue working on this movie. And that's your virtual reality. So it requires a lot of play, but you're already feeling good. Or when you step into it, it's feeling really, really delicious. The next one I have for play is a prosperity game. Oh, okay. So this one this is also this is part of the money one as well. It's process number 5, but that requires play because we are imagining the things that we're spending that money on. Like, let's say when we got up to whatever, like, let's say we got up to $16,000. Um, what can I spend that money on? It requires for me to be playful, to be easygoing, lighthearted, not create resistance of how it's going to manifest. It's never about the how. That is not our job. So the prosperity game is just having that fun of, ooh, this is going to be nice to spend this money on. And what we did, an idea that came up in our group, was just to deposit that money inside the magical creation box. So that became the place where I started depositing all my checks. And so that is the third one that I have for play. Now the next category is releasing resistance. I've put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 processes in this category, and these are ones where our emotional set point are low. Like, we're feeling despair, we're feeling overwhelmed, we're feeling like just we're not feeling good, and we want to raise the vibration. So the first one is, I love the placemat process. That's process number 10. That is the one where actually Esther, when she created this process, she was sitting at a restaurant, and some restaurants where they give you a placemat that is made out of paper, and so it's like a large piece of paper, and so you could use any blank piece of paper, or you can use your journal, and it is just called the placemat process because that's how it was created, out of Esther sitting at a restaurant with a placemat in front of her, white piece of paper, and she divided it in two. And there was just so much overwhelm of all her to-do list. So we might have a lot of things that we have to get to, and our to-do list can just like be so much that we couldn't, possibly get to all of it. So what you do is you divide this page in two, and you put, one is your absolute to-do list that you have to get to, and the second part is the universe's to-do list. So you're giving the universe you're writing it down, because the process of writing it down is you delegating, giving it to the universe to take care of it for you. And the release and resistance that creates is really magical, because we know that there's so many things that we possibly like couldn't get to, but the universe has a way in which we just give it to the universe to take care of, which also is very similar to another process that is called turning it over to the manager. So for me, those two are very similar, because the turning it in over to the manager is we the manager is the universe, is source energy, whatever you want to call it, and it is available to you 24/7. The way it is explained, the way Abraham explains it, is like, imagine you're paying an executive like thousands and thousands of dollars every day to work for you, but you don't give it any work. And it's just sitting there waiting for you to delegate. So the placemat process, when we are giving the tasks, all those to-dos that we can't possibly like conjure up how we're going to do that, we just give it over to that task to the universe. So it is like turning it over to the manager. And so the point is to feel the relief that someone is taking, not someone, the universe, like the Almighty, like the one that can do it all, is taking care of it for you. So so feeling the feeling of, okay, it's taken care of. I've already given it. I've put it in the to-do list in my placemat project, and I've also turned it over to the manager. That is the first one that I have for releasing resistance. The next one is finding the feeling place. That's process number 18. Finding the feeling place is so for that, we've got to be familiar with the emotional scale and know that there are the feelings that are that have high degrees of resistance, and that we move up the emotional scale. But remember that we can't go all the way from despair to joy. There's a too big of a leap. So finding the feeling place is our ability to find, better feeling. Oh, like that released some, that feeling released some resistance, and you're finding the feeling. So we're actually deliberately searching for a better feeling, and we're noticing the relief of the better feeling, but we're not forcing ourselves to go all the way to joy or to optimism right away. We're just we're fine tuning our feeling. The next one, and finding the feeling is also similar to another process that is I'm looking here at the it's similar to moving up the emotional scale. Welcome there to another one of our participants. So we are on the moving up the feeling. So the moving up the emotional scale is also similar to finding the feeling place. So when we are familiar with the emotional scale that goes from dense resistance to up to a better feeling place, again, better feeling place is that moving up the scale gradually, and not wanting to make those big leaps. So the finding the feeling place, number 18, is being familiar with the emotional scale and fine-tuning ourselves to a better feeling place, which also is similar to finding a better feeling thought. And that is another process, which is, I'm going to do that in the intentional thought. That's my next category. But so you can see basically that a lot of the processes are similar to each other. And as you become more and more familiar, you can see that in essence, that's why I mentioned that becoming so familiar with the emotional scale is one of our most important subjects to understand and to become familiar with, and to give ourselves grace. Because if we are all the way down in despair, know that there is a way to move up the scale, but it will require our focus, and there are processes like finding the feeling, like finding a better feeling thought, that can help us shift, that can help us move up the scale. Okay, so the next one in releasing resistance is the focus wheel. That is process number 17. That one is really fun because and that one works when we are in a lower vibration, when we're not feeling well, and we want to get to we identify what it is that we want to feel, and we put that at the center. So that does require us writing it down on a piece of paper and actively focusing on it. So as you can see, some of the processes you can do on the go, out and about. You don't need a piece of paper. You just need the directing thought. But the focus wheel does require for us to sit down, dedicate time and focus and pen on paper to write down the feelings. So the focus wheel is we identify what it is that we want to feel, what it is that we desire, and put it at the center. And then that's the circle in the middle, and then we do another circle and we start like clockwise, let's say at noon. So at the top, we write down a statement that would get us into the wheel. So the focus wheel is, imagine if you were a child and you played in one of those merry-go-rounds, or those games where it started spinning around, and if it was going too fast, it would throw you off into the bushes, like Abraham says. So what you want is to start off by finding a thought, a statement that will get you onto the wheel. So if at the center you have something like being in love, for example, and you start off by saying, "I feel so lonely," that's going to throw you off into the bushes. So you find something that says, I know that things are always working out for me. That will get you onto the wheel. And from that place that you wrote, then you write at your 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So imagine it's like a clock, something that gets you, another thought, like, well, I have been in love in the past. Oh, if that feels good, write it. If it doesn't, you're off in the bushes. So you could just keep fine tuning, keep thinking about what could work, what could keep you in the focus wheel. So you could say something like, I love me. I love who I am. If that rings true, write it down. It's getting you a little bit closer, and you keep writing down things until you get closer to what it is that you identified that you desire. So there's statements that require that attention, that fine tuning, that sincerity with yourself. Whether it's going to throw you off, if it throws you off, don't write it. You gotta intentionally find a better feeling thought. And so you can see how finding a better feeling thought, which is a different process, helps you with this focus, which is the focus wheel. All right, so that is process number 17. and that I put in the category of releasing resistance. The next one for releasing resistance I put in is turning it over to the manager. And that I talked about already a little bit about how it's similar to the placemat process, where we are feeling overwhelmed, or we're feeling like we can't do it all. Well, the manager is there waiting for you to give it instructions, to give it a to-do list. So handing it over is delegating, is giving it to the universe to take care of it for you, and feeling the relief. Again, it is all about focusing our thought, knowing that we are the deliberate creators. We are the directors of all of this. So we have the authority, we have the capacity, we have the the word. Our word is going to be heard. We are asking, and knowing and trusting that when we are asking, it is given. So feeling the relief of delegating this task or this thing that you may feel like it's just so much for you to take on. But remember that whenever we are feeling this way is because we want to control it, and in the 3D. And so by giving it over, asking, delegating it, we can feel that rest and that relief, that there is a manager there that is available 24/7, and all we have to do is ask. So that is turning it over to the manager. That's process 20. The other one that I put in releasing resistance is the process number 14, which is clearing clutter for clarity. That one I put in this category because a lot of, this one, a lot of people loved in our challenge, because we can physically take things that are creating clutter for ourselves in our home, in our environment, that are just overwhelming. And everything has energy. So when we can deliberately have the intention to go through our things, go through our space, and put things, say, is this something that I need, that is serving me? You release it, you put it away. So the way we did it in the challenge, because the challenge is meant to be done in 21 days, and we're obviously all free to use it however it works for us, but just for that day, just dedicating time to going through a space and clearing clutter. That's what we did. The actual process, the way it's designed and the way it's written in the book, is we create, a lot of times what Abraham says is that when we don't want to let go of things is because we believe that that we might need it later, or that we've gotten rid of something in the past, and then we needed it. So the way it's designed is that we put a lot of boxes, pretty boxes, that we can put in our garage or in a storage place, and we place all the items that we don't need immediately, and we create a list. So you can do a recording of, okay, such and such water bottle or whatever, this purse is in box number 1. This thing is in box number 2. And so then at the end, when you put everything in a box, you have a way where it's organized and you can find it. So that gives you the peace that you didn't get rid of it, that you can find it later. But then you put all those boxes into a storage or to a garage. And when you need it, you can go to the list and say, oh, where's that water bottle? Where's that purse? Oh, it's in box 5. It's in box 3. And you can find it. But a lot of times what happens is that, over a period of time, we never actually needed that, but it's already out of our environment, not creating that clutter, that confusion, that overwhelm. So that is process 14. And I put it in the category of releasing resistance. So, all right. So there's 3 more categories. The biggest one here I have is the intentional thought. Okay, so I have for intentional thought. So these are processes that hopefully we acquire, we put into practice deliberately, because they will come in handy in your day to day, where we are directing. It's like where we are being creators. We are being the deliberate about directing thought and directing feeling. So the first one, for intentional thought, is scripting. That is process number 9. Scripting is a beautiful practice that, let's say you like designate a uh, uh, okay, hopefully you can hear me okay. So you designate a journal to write down things as if. So you are scripting the future, and you're scripting it as is. I find this most useful in the morning, perhaps after you've done a meditation, that you've gotten yourself into a good feeling thought. Thank you. Thank you there for it's clear. So scripting is you, like, let's say, you are the director, you are the producer. So you're writing the script. You're writing the script of your life as if. And it is really fun, because when you put pen and paper again, you get excited by saying, oh, I am so loving that I have, abundance in my life. And there I'm working with, and this is just me, like I'm working with a huge group of people that is just creating so much satisfaction in my life. And I'm seeing the abundance just come in all different ways, and I have the love of my life next to me that is supportive, and that it just, and so you just go at it. You are creating the narrative, the script of the life that you want to live. And I know a lot of people that use this process that then go back and read and say, oh my goodness, like you put the date. That's important, because then you look back and say, I wrote this and I'm now living it. And so it is getting yourself into this place where you're feeling excited for what you are going to live, but you are writing it as if you are as if you are living it right now. You're scripting your future life. And so it is important, of course, to be in an emotional set point where you believe it. And even if it doesn't have to be you're in this joyous state, because as you start writing, you can end up, at the beginning you might not feel it fully, but as you just go along and just go along, you end up being excited for what is to come. And just notice too, if there's resistance coming, notice the resistance, and notice that there are ways, like maybe, when you go to bed, you do a focus wheel, for example, or any other process to get you into a state where, when you wake up, because we know that when we wake up, and especially if it's very early in the morning, there hasn't been enough time of thought to create resistance, so the scripting might come in easier. And another process that you could do before then is also the evaluating dreams, and I'll go through that one in a moment. I've put that in a different category, but that's where you can notice where you are in your emotional set point, and I'll go through it in a moment. But for scripting, just know that it is important to be in a good feeling place, or at least neutral, and then get excited. Okay, the next one is segment intending. This one is really great. It's process number 11, because segment intending is you anticipating, like, let's say I'm going to go to an appointment, or you're about to enter a store, or you're about to go into a meeting, or you're about to have a conversation with somebody, and you're segmenting, intending what you desire. You're already
you're already getting yourself into the state that you desire for the outcome that you want in that place, in that segment. So instead of saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm dreading this appointment," or I'm just gonna have to do this. Well, you're segmenting intending, but in a negative way. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So the self-fulfilling prophecy of segment intending is you coming already in with the outcome that you desire. And so that requires for us to getting into the feeling of anticipating goodness, expecting good things. So that is segment intending. The next one I have is process number 12. That is a wouldn't it be nice if. That's a beautiful one. Again, you can do this one on the go. Doesn't require, you could write it down, but you can also do it on the go. Wouldn't it be nice? It's just thought. Wouldn't it be nice if I use your imagination? Wouldn't it be nice if I ran into this person that needs, that just hands me this thing? Wouldn't it be nice if I met the love of my life in the airport tomorrow when I go to the airport? Wouldn't it be nice? And you're just playful. Wouldn't it be nice? Because wouldn't it be nice is actually, I could put this into the play one category, because you are deliberately having fun, not forcing, not expecting, not like it has to happen, but you're just saying, wouldn't it be nice? So I think that one is one that we could just get used to. Wouldn't it be nice? And then ask for the thing that wouldn't it be nice to have or to do or to be? Wouldn't it be nice to I'm working on a marathon. Wouldn't it be nice if I finished in 10 minutes less than I did last time? That for me, that is exciting. That for me is like, wouldn't it be nice? But that is already telling myself, I'm ordering myself to do whatever I need to do in order to get that outcome. Because I'm already practicing, I'm playing with the feeling of that nice feeling. Wouldn't it be nice? Yeah, it would be nice, and it would feel great. So I'm already pre-paving the way, so that so the next one in the intentional workout is process number 13. Which thought feels better? Okay, so this one is when we think a thought that we don't like, we catch ourselves. That's important. A lot of this is being so self-aware, so self-empowered, remembering that we're the director of the creator, and we change the thought, because we know that when we think a thought that doesn't feel good, that we are actually creating it. So we get what we think about. So if we think about a thought that doesn't feel good, then we apply this process. Which thought actually feels better? So we don't have to make big jumps, but we can find a thought that slightly feels better. Like, let's say something doesn't go our way, or like somebody offends us or something, and we might think, oh geez, we take it personally, for example, and like, I didn't deserve that. That doesn't feel empowered. What if we change that thought into, oh, how would this serve me? Oh, this is actually happening for me. That's a better feeling thought. Oh, I wonder what there's a gift here for me. And I know that might be a stretch, but that's what I practice. Is when something doesn't go my way, or something it doesn't feel good, I know I've trained myself to think, this is happening for me. Hey, this is a gift. Even if it feels horrible at the moment. Ooh, it's like, oh, an opportunity to find a better feeling thought, because if I go on the negative thought, I'm just going to create more of it. So this one, which thought feels better, goes along very well with the pivoting process, which is process number 16. So you can see how they interrelate. They're distinct, but a lot of them really do kind of go hand in hand. So the pivoting one is where we notice ourselves in a bad frequency and a bad feeling thought and a vibration that doesn't feel good, and we pivot. And so we deliberately ask ourselves, okay, what would be a different state? What would be a different attitude? What would be a better feeling thought? So we are actually, it's like when we, let's say you're pivoting. To me is like, I'm a runner, so I run into a place where there's no more road to run. I got to pivot. I can't keep going. If I keep going, I'm going to fall off a cliff or I'm going to hurt myself. I have to pivot. I have to change my direction. I have to deliberately choose another path. So that is pivoting. So for feelings, we've got to shift. Okay, so then, and I've got, let's see, probably another seven, seven explanations, and then we're done. So hopefully this is serving you, and you can pause this. I'll put this out as a recording. You can, pause it and review as you may. Okay, so the next one is the rampage of appreciation. That's process number one, and that's a beautiful process. A rampage is just one beautiful thought after another, after another, after another, after another. And so it's creating momentum, the rampage. So Abraham says that, when we hold a thought, a feeling for more than 16 seconds, and I know it's changed a little bit. I think it used to be 17, now it's about 16. Just think about, I'm gonna rampage, this thought, and I'm just going to bask in it. I'm going to I'm going to milk it. I'm going to just stay here and just like enjoy it, just like you're enjoying a delicious meal and just savoring it, savoring it, savoring it. The rampage of appreciation gains momentum as you deliberately think a thought, or also you can write down statements that make you feel good. And actually, Abraham has so many rampages on YouTube that you can find. I've created rampages for myself where I write things that statements that make me feel good. And this might be something that you might want to take on if you like. I really highly recommend is creating your own personal rampage of appreciation, because not every rampage is what we need. So if you're focusing on, let's say, creating more money, create a rampage of appreciation of money. And you can go general, like Abraham says, because that way we're not, as we gain that momentum, we can get more focused, we can get more detailed, but we can keep a rampage very broad to get us into a good feeling place. So rampages are just statements that just make, help us create momentum. So there are many resources or ways to do that. Okay, so that I put into the intentional category, because we have to be intentional about them. All right, the next one is the creative workshop. That one we have to be intentional. That is process number 3. That is the one where, okay, like let's say I want to, there's 4 categories that Abraham puts, like my body. So you get into the creative workshop of what you desire for your body. Then so these are pieces of paper or journal, and you write down what you desire. So there's one for body, one for relationship, one for work, one for your home. And you write down what you desire. Let's say you desire a slim body. That's what you want. So you write down why you want it. And so the creative workshop is writing all the reasons why, and just going with what comes first, and writing it down. And so let's say I want a slim body. Why? Oh, because I would love to feel great in a bikini. Why? Because my birthday's coming up and I want to feel good about myself. Why? Because I intend to age gracefully and have a strong body as I come into an old age, or or as I yeah, whatever it is for you. But the important thing here is that we don't we it is not our job about the how or the when. That's not what we're doing the creative workshop, because that is not our job. Our job is just to get into the knowing what we desire and why. That's the creative workshop, and we do that for each category. And so you could do this maybe once a week, maybe once a month, and you go back to it and review it however times or ways that you want. But what it helps us is to focus on what we desire. Okay, I'm going to move on quickly because, oh my gosh, I've been talking for so long. All right, so, and I do want to have time for us to have a little Q&A for whomever is here live. And thank you for being here live. If you're here, you're committed, and I'm so grateful for doing this with you. All right, so then we've got process number 8. The book of positive aspects is so beautiful. This one, I think it's so beautiful to have one dedicated journal for the book of positive aspects. This one, to me, feels like as you write in this book of positive aspects, you can, so the way you do it is you start by something that you appreciate, that you want to find positive aspects to, and you write down the reason why I love you. There's a few questions actually, and I don't have them on top of my head, but again, that is process number 8, so you can review that. What are those specific questions? But the one I remember, the question is, why do I love you so much? So if you're writing down a book of positive aspects about your mother, for example, or about your pet, or about your work, or about anything, you're writing down all the reasons. It's like a love letter. For me, it's one of the most beautiful ones to create beautiful feelings, because there's so much to appreciate about the things that are around us, that a lot of times we lose. We don't realize how much we do appreciate, or the positive things about a certain thing or person or place or thing that you're involved with. And so the book of positive aspects becomes like this really this book, this journal, wherever it is that you're writing, a very high frequency thing. And to me, it's like every time you grab it, it's like you're grabbing pure vibration. So it could be just a beautiful thing to read over, to write again, and imagine yourself in this place of being so in love, of being so appreciative of things. And when you write down things, you could be surprised. Yeah, I've just gotten so much out of that, and receiving, gosh, appreciation from some of you makes me teary, because yeah, because I didn't realize how much I was appreciated for certain things. And it made me think of, whoa, if I just dedicated time to certain people, places, I would find things that are not immediately that I'm not immediately conscious of, but I've written them down. And then what does that do? Imagine what you focus on expands. So that's a beautiful one. Okay, meditation, we know that one. That's another intentional one. We're very familiar. In meditation, we're raising our, we're going for the cork analogy is very used by Abraham, which means like the cork is like, a bottle of wine that has a cork, right? And so whenever we're in resistance, it's like we are intentionally pushing that cork under the water. And a lot of us live with, and I don't want to include myself, because my intention is always to be a floating, because the cork naturally floats up. Our vibration naturally raises as we release resistance. So meditation creates that for us. Meditation releases resistance and gets us into floating, into that state where, oh, yes, we can see things from from the place where we came from from source. So meditation is another very important process, of course, like one of the main ones. And okay, I think that's okay. Moving up the emotional scale, that's another deliberate process. That one deserves its own training. I am in the works as of right now of creating a specific workshop just for moving up the emotional scale and for identifying the emotional scale, the range of each feeling and the frequency of each one. And so I think it's extremely important to know that, because let's say if we're going through grief, like let's say somebody dear to us is maybe passed away, or we're going through a very tremendous illness. It's important to know that there are stages to the feelings, and we can't bypass it. And so knowing that where we are, identifying where we are, and knowing that there is a way to reach for the higher frequencies, but we don't have to pressure ourselves to do it, in the moment, in our own time, in our own, giving ourselves grace. Okay, and then the last two is I put the one for introspection. I put it in this category because it's very unique. The evaluating dreams. That one is really, really fascinating. I know there are people that are very into dream analysis. So this is this is like dream analysis, where when we go to bed at night and there is an intention that we set, to have our dreams reveal to us where we are. So like, for example, if we've been very negative, or we've been worried about something, and it appears in our dreams, and it's mostly important to identify the feeling of the dream, because it's sort of like a glimpse into the future. And so when you wake up in the morning and you write down what your feeling was with the dream, you can deliberately change it. So the dream and the evaluating dreams process number 7 can help you rewrite the story. So redirect. You're the producer. The dream could give you a glimpse into, hey, what you've been practicing, so that you can change it. So it can become an ally, a tool, a way, a process for you to redirect. And it could also help you get a glimpse into the future, like, ooh, wow, how cool, I felt like I could fly. I felt that in dreams, and it's like, yes, confirmation that I am doing something in my waking state that is creating the feeling of I am limitless, I can fly. If I have a dream, a bad dream, like a nightmare, it's like, oops, what is this telling me? I have been focusing on thought. Identify the feeling in the dream and change it, rewrite it. So that's evaluating dreams, number 7. And lastly, process number 21, a beautiful, beautiful process. I created that video for you guys, and all of this you had it available. You'll have it if you'd like to keep these processes. They're are available. First, if you're watching this live and you or recording within the time frame, we have until April 8th that you have these processes available for you to review. The reason why it's a challenge is because any challenge that you take on, again, 21 days is so that you can create the habit. And so these processes were I know it was a lot, but it was the intention to deliberately become familiar with, learn processes to release resistance and higher our vibration. So hopefully it gives us momentum, and hopefully you've done the work of writing down on your journal, identifying the ones that work for you, taking notes, printing your tracker, making notes there. And but there's a way for you to have them indefinitely, when you decide to buy them, and so and then have access to the ongoing support that we'll have in our group, in our virtual group. The last process is reclaiming one's natural health. So this recording, I personally have been using it since I recorded it, because it's a very, my videos are anywhere between 4 to 7 minutes, but I really enjoyed the guiding myself to the ease of feeling healthy, and reminding my cells that they can restore themselves to their health. And so it's something beautiful, like when we do with guided meditation. So it's like a short guided meditation to remind ourselves of our the intelligence of our body and the intelligence of our cells to restore themselves into health. And if we're here in this work, we're also familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, with maybe HeartMath's work, and that's what is required, that we believe. So if we're going through a health condition or something that is worry, that even pain, that we can remember that there are, by directing thoughts, by having belief, by knowing that there is an intelligent within our body, and also beyond our body, that is wanting to restore our health, and that it is possible. So that process number 21 is beautiful. All right, so that's it. That's all the processes. There's another challenge coming up there. My intention is to continue these challenges, and to offer them at a very low cost, so that we can practice them, that they can become available. Again, you don't have to go through the challenge. There is this book. They're all here, but there's something beautiful about dedicating the time, committing ourselves, just like we do when we have an intention for something. I love challenges because I've always related, I'm an athlete. I consider myself an athlete. So whenever we challenge ourselves, I love running. So when I put an intention to run a half marathon, or run a marathon, I've got to put in the dedication, the work. And that way I'm conditioning my body. So a challenge is helping you condition yourself, imagine, to integrate these into your life. And so when we're focused, when we have decided that that's what we want to do, we more likely do it. So if I just, if this was something, if we've had the book and we've never actually gone through it, it is so great to come into a challenge, or to come in with a group of people, or just find a buddy, that can help you stay accountable, and you can have that back and forth of talking about it, and talking about the different processes and the ins and outs. There's so many intricacies to these processes, but if you don't come along, join in the Coherence Meditation Gym. There's going to be all of this, ways in which we can utilize these processes. There's mini sprints that will be available, like sprints just for money, sprints just for health, sprints just for training the mind on the go. So I hope that you join in on those, and I hope this has served you. I hope you feel served. I know that you're creating a beautiful life. Thank you for being here. And well, I'm just going to end this recording by saying, and remember to always come back to your heart. and to creating coherence, mind-brain coherence, and it's through our heartbeat. To me, this is the seat of the soul. So when we're in coherence, when we're in the vortex, that means that we're in that we are our heartbeat is beating in the way that it was, that the natural laws that our creator, our source, intended us, and we are thriving, and we are feeling freedom, growth, and joy. All right. So I'm going to stop the recording. And if there's any questions here, please feel free. Bye for everyone else.